start off with some college announcements. Start by BMO.
Hey, Tommy, thank you, Tommy. We have several seniors and postgraduates who are going to come up and make their college announcements today. We're very excited for them. Those that haven't made their announcements yet, Miss Sylvia is going to stand up here too. There are 6 of you, and you know who you are, who haven't told us yet your final decision. Please see Mrs. Dempsey, Mrs. Latan, or myself, so we can update Naviance and have correct reports for everybody. So if you haven't told us yet where you're going, please let us know soon so we have everything correct in the system. So for those seniors that want to make their announcements today, come on up and tell the whole school where you're going. Sylvia?
I am going to Michigan State University.
Hi, my name is Lu Peng. I'm going to University of Connecticut.
Do we have a couple more college announcements, or is that it?
Come on,
Come on. If you could just stand up where you are and yell it out. All right. No one else is going to college. We're going to start off with the announcements by Anna Rosen and Rachel Wallace talking about the spring play.
Hi everyone. So the spring play is next week. It is going to be a comedic murder mystery where characters have to solve a puzzle before they are killed. So it opens next Thursday at 7 p.m. It's a week from today. And then there are also shows Friday at 7 and Saturday at 2. It's called Bone Chiller. And it's rated PG. And tickets are free, but must be reserved on the portal. So go to the CA homepage to do that. Come and support the varsity players. Also, everyone who has been involved in theater this year, any of the 3 seasons, and even if you were a dancer or pit or crew or anything, please come and see Miss G at the end because she has t-shirts for us. Thank you.
And now Cheryl and Ben talking about the Smile Train tag sale.
Hey guys, we are here to introduce a new amazing event this year, which will make use of the items that many boarders leave behind or throw away at the end of the school year, such as clothes, lamps, posters, effects, etc. And the Smile Train Tech Sale will be held on Wednesday, May 20th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m.
Now a little bit about Smile Train. Smile Train is a non-profit organization and is the largest charity providing corrective surgery for children with cleft lips and palates, and we feel it is very important and a meaningful cause. Items donated to the cause will be sold during the tag sale, which with all proceeds going to Smile Train organization. This event will not only help boarding students decorate and furnish their rooms for next year, but will also support a great cause. We have more details coming soon to you guys. Thanks.
Now Shannon Lewis for an announcement from Nick Dean.
This Monday, the ICDEAN Society will be initiating our final project of the year, a backpack drive. The project will run into next fall, at which point we will stuff the backpacks we collect with school supplies and donate them to students in need who can't afford what many of us see as basic necessities. In the coming weeks, please look out for donation bins that will be placed across campus and consider donating your backpacks and supplies as you finish with them. To talk more about the event, we are having a meeting tomorrow in the lecture hall during the club block, and all are welcome to attend. Thank you.
Now we got Mr. Dykeman talking about hairspray.
Good morning. Michael Belafonte, who's a member of our Board of Trustees, many of you know, donated seats for the Christmas Schooner this past winter production. He's again made a donation to the school, open for all students free of charge, May 16th, which is Saturday, to go see Hairspray at the Connecticut Theater production. This is again free, 12:30. You can sign up in the Office of Community Life or online. 1 o'clock you will have lunch served as well. Hopefully all of you take advantage of a great week with the arts to see Bone Chiller, which is Thursday and Friday night and Saturday, as well as those of you who are interested in seeing Hairspray as well. But if you have any questions, please come up afterwards, and the sign up has gone out. Thank you.
Now to the National Honor Society announcement for Kiss a Senior Goodbye.
Hi everyone, this is a little update. So there's about 6 more days till the PG graduation and about 16 more days till the senior graduation, so we're very excited. The sale will continue until next Wednesday for the PGs, but for the seniors we will extend the sale for another 2 weeks.
So NHS members will be selling during all the lunch periods this week at the table near the salad bar, and we'll also be going around to the dorms so you can buy them from any NHS member selling the bags. So it's $1 for 1 bag, $4 for 5 bags, and $8 for 10 bags. Have a good day. Thank you.
And now the freshman class officers.
Good morning. So I have some pretty exciting news, I'd say. Tomorrow, Friday, is a casual day and benefit for the freshman class. It's going to be free. Yeah, you can applaud that. Yay, casual day. It'll be $3. You have many different options on who you can pay to. You can pay to Nastia, you can pay to Dechen, you can pay to Julia Rafferty, who is somewhere out in the audience, or myself. You can also pay to Mr. Bannock, who will be at breakfast tomorrow, starting at like 7:30, or the Community Life Office. So we really are excited about this. Yay! Shorts have, okay, this is from Miss Anderson. Shorts go to the knee.
Like Bermuda shorts.
Bermuda shorts.
And we don't like to see shoulders.
We also don't like shoulders.
We wear sweaters.
So no shoulders. All right, thanks. Have a good day.
Quickly, with the dress down day, this is for the seniors and postgraduates. Understand this is in lieu of a formal dress day. So you will be paying for this casual dress day, or you will be in formal dress. If you do not abide by that, you will lose your senior dress privilege for the remainder of the year. Okay, so all seniors and postgraduates, understand that you are also responsible for this dress down day. Thank you.
And just an announcement in light of Teacher Appreciation Week and yesterday Nurse Appreciation Week, I think on behalf of the student body and all of us together can give a round of applause to all our dedicated teachers and nurses. And so we're going to start the musical performance today by Lexi Williamson and Lillian Shu performing Riverside.
side. Go to the water so very near. The river will be your eyes and ears. I walk to the borders on my own, to fall in the water just like a stone. Chill to the marrow in the bones. Why do I go here all alone? Oh my God, I see how everything is torn in the river deep, and I don't know why I go the way down by the riverside. Down by the riverside.
And our two senior speeches for today will be Danielle Rios-Roberts and Paxi Wasilewski, starting off with Danielle.
Many people take the "This I Believe" prompt in a very literal sense. They talk about faith, family, and love, and those topics are extremely important, and I'm not trying to undermine them in any way. However, I decided to take this prompt in a different direction and talk about something that has had a large impact on my life, I am highly interested in, and as I see it is important to share. Now, has anyone heard the song "Pretty Hurts" by Beyonce? You guys can raise your hand. Yeah? Okay, good. To me, this song is more than just lyrics about a pageant girl. It is about a young woman struggling to see her beauty and self-worth. There is an important underlying message. Society has such a grand impact on young women. This is displayed consistently throughout the lyrics. The most powerful line of the song is "Perfection is the disease of a nation." This is true. The media advertises women as their idea of beautiful. However, this range of beautiful is extremely limited. Women are expected to be thin, with perfect figures, have flawless skin, and wear the most fashionable and modern clothing. All of these characteristics are not an accurate representation of the majority of the female population. I believe that there should not be a standard that must be followed in order to be considered beautiful. It's awful because the media is highly aware of the influence they have over young girls in particular. And they exploit that. Young girls strive for this ideal female beauty that in reality is unachievable. The use of Photoshop in almost everything media related is absurd. There is no telling what is real and what is Photoshopped. It is unfortunate that so many women and girls will starve their bodies or change their bodies with cosmetic surgeries to fit this fictitious body image. I have a friend who suffered from anorexia because she was so unsatisfied with how she looked that she worked out an excessive amount and did not eat enough to compensate. It is a shame that many individuals do not realize their natural beauty and feel aesthetically inferior when compared to the models in magazines and on the television. Trust me, I know it is difficult to put it all aside and just focus on yourself, to focus on your internal beauty. I believe that people should not be judged by what they look like on the outside. There is so much more to a person than just their physical attributes. It makes me sad to see that there are people who will not take time to get to know and make connections with these amazing people because of their looks. I honestly believe it all comes back to this corruption inflicted by society on individuals. People see all of these advertisements every day, and what these ads display is drilled into their mentality. And this affects all of you, and not only does it affect you, but it affects everyone around you. That is why I believe it is increasingly important to expose the media and create a new, healthy, natural body image for individuals to strive for. There are too many people who are seeking to be like someone else instead of seeking to be their best self. I have challenged myself to increase my own confidence and to help others feel beautiful and satisfied with their appearance as well. Nobody should feel lesser because of their physical traits. I believe if someone is maintaining a healthy lifestyle and is strong and happy and living each day to its highest potential, that's what's important and that's what's beautiful. Thank you.
And the second senior speech from Pat.
Failure isn't fatal, but failure to change might be. John Wooden. Everyone, at some point in their lives, has experienced walking into a room and having everyone's eyes on them. To hear people whispering your name, knowing you have everyone's full attention. Regardless of whether the reason behind this was good or bad, everyone knows what this feels like. But not everyone knows the feeling of walking into a crowded room and not having your presence affect a single person in it. To know that not a single person knows your name, and not a single person cares to learn it. Not everyone knows what it's like being invisible, walking somewhere day after day, week after week, month after month, but feeling as if one day you didn't show up, that no one would notice and no one would care. I've seen a boy like this, but like most people do when they see someone in this state, I didn't react. I didn't let the boy know that I had noticed him, that I cared about him, or that I worried about him. At the time I saw him, I didn't know how to react. I was too young to really understand what was going on, and I hadn't realized that I could have helped him. But then again, I'm sure no one else at the time realized they could have either. This boy was one of those kids who felt that no one cared about him, that no one acknowledged him. He felt like no one would notice if he was in a room or out of it. He felt that if one day he was gone, if one day he left for good, that no one would care. And eventually that day for him came, and he went. But everyone noticed. It all started at my church's weekly high school dinner. I was still in middle school at the time, but I had begged my older sister to let me tag along. Whenever she talked about these dinners, she described a place full of people like me. People who were outgoing. People who were friends with everyone. It was a place where everyone belonged and no one ever felt left out. In my head, it was the perfect place. But as I would soon learn, nothing's perfect. That Wednesday, I arrived outside the church's doors, my stomach fluttering with excitement, and I remember shoving the doors open and running ahead of my sister. I burst into the dining hall, staring out at the tables of people. But what I saw wasn't a group of united people laughing and talking. Kids were huddled in groups, whispering and giggling, while other kids sat and talked in twos or threes, barely acknowledging the others around them. I was confused. This wasn't at all what I had imagined. I looked from table to table, my eyes jumping back and forth from group to group until my gaze finally landed on a boy in the corner who was staring at his hands in his lap. The boy looked just like the quiet ones at my school, the ones the cooler boys typically made fun of. I watched this boy all night. He was the only person in the entire room who I never saw speak a word. I watched him eating that night in silence, rarely looking up from his plate. I watched his eyes light up whenever someone acknowledged him, and then I would feel his heart sink as he realized they just wanted something like a napkin and not a conversation. I had wanted to sit next to him, talk to him, but I held back. I didn't want to make him uncomfortable. That whole night, I struggled against every fiber in my being to keep myself from trying to talk to him and cheer him up. But at the same time, I couldn't let myself take a chance on embarrassing him. As dinner dragged on, I made up excuses for him in my head. How maybe he wasn't talking to anyone because he'd just gotten his tonsils removed, or how maybe he was playing the no talking game. They were childish excuses, but they were the best I could do. And that night after we left, I replayed excuses like these in my head over and over, but I just couldn't get the boy out of my mind. It wasn't until a month later that I found out the truth. We had just picked up my sister from another church dinner, but when she came outside, she wasn't her usual cheery self. Her face was swollen and red, her eyes clenched shut as she ran towards our car. I watched kids running from behind her, faces in their hands, tears on their cheeks. My stomach dropped. I desperately searched the crowd, looking for that one face. But just as I expected, the boy's face was nowhere in sight. I wanted to throw up. I sat in silence on the way home, occasionally listening to my sister explain how all alone this boy had been and how terrible everyone felt for him. She talked about how awful life must have been for him to kill himself, and how sorry everyone felt for him, and how they wished they'd known how alone he felt, or they wished he had just asked for help. But where were they when he was sitting alone in the corner, staring at his lap in silence every night for weeks? I was there one day, just one day, and I had noticed him. Yet the people that were there every single week for months on end couldn't even tell you his name. I was furious. I sat, my face fuming and my mind racing. I heard her say how in the past 6 months, the boy's mother and only friend had both died, how alone he'd been, and no one had noticed. But someone had noticed. I had noticed. And the fact that I hadn't done anything about it made me sick. While talking to him that day may not have affected him in the long run, the fact that I could have been the one person to show him that someone did care about him, that someone did notice him, made it the biggest failure I'd ever experienced. I had sat in a room full of people who dismissed this boy's existence for months on end. Yet at the same time, I knew I couldn't have been the only person in the room who just sat by and watched, who thought about him and worried about him, but didn't say anything. The boy had felt alone, and he had had no one to prove him wrong. The night I found out that he died, I cried for hours on end. I cried for the boy, but I also cried for myself. And to this day, I still think that everyone else at that church that day was crying for themselves as well. Whether this boy's death affected anyone else like it affected me is a mystery. And until it was time to write this, I had never spoken about this event with anyone. In my head, I'd failed myself. By not going up to the boy that day, I had let myself down, and I had let everyone around me down as well. But what I realized was that this boy wasn't the only person I would ever run into who felt alone in the world, or as if no one cared about them. It was from this point on, I decided I would do whatever I could to never let anyone feel alone again. It's true I'll never be able to go up to that boy and explain myself, but I realized I could learn from this. I can make it up to him and myself by never letting anyone feel like this again. And I figured that maybe people who used to just sit by like I had would notice what I was doing and start to take a stand as well. While not everyone has an experience like mine, I decided to share my story with you so that maybe the next time you see someone alone, someone sitting by themselves, or just walking alone, you might think twice about saying hello or introducing yourself. Failures are only failures if you don't learn from them. I believe that if even one person can take something away from my story, then there is at least one more lucky kid out there that someday won't feel so alone. In this, I believe.
And now we have Ms. Anderson making the announcement for the Gardner Award.
Good morning. Every student in the room should have a ballot. This morning we are going to take student votes for the D. Robert Gardner Excellence in Teaching Award. The Gardner Award for Excellence in Teaching is named for former senior master and longtime faculty member Bob Gardner. It is given annually to a member of the faculty who, by initial nominating vote of the students and subsequent review by a committee of past recipients, has been a major contributor to the student body's pursuit of and achievement of academic excellence. Please take a moment to reflect broadly on your teachers and vote for one who, like Mr. Gardner, is dedicated to students, gifted in helping them reach their full potential, and who models lifelong pursuit of excellence in the classroom. You will notice on your ballot list that there are all full-time teachers who have served on the Cheshire Academy faculty for at least 3 years. The list excludes 5 teachers: Mr. Boyd, Mr. Sermo, Mr. Dupre, Mrs. Glassmeyer, Mr. Laspina, more than 5, Mr. Poissant, and Mr. Rogers, who are past recipients of the Gardner Award. Please vote for one teacher. Then you can give your ballot to, if you are sitting with your advisor, please give your ballot to your advisor. If your advisor is not sitting at your table, you can give your ballot to the closest adult area, you just fold them one time, not 17, no origami, just fold it over one time, that'd be great. And this award is presented at a later date. Thank you.
Can someone from Ms. Kubot's group come and get theirs? Ms. Berries? Mr. Christensen? And
Turn in your ballot, you're free to go. Thank you.